Welcome to this explainer. You know that feeling when you've spent weeks, literally weeks, building an absolutely amazing AI application? Maybe it's a brilliant new chatbot, some cutting-edge image classifier, or an AI health assistant you really want to show off on your resume. You've poured your heart into it. But right now, it only lives on your own computer. Well, today, we're going to transform that local project into a live, globally accessible application. And the absolute best part? We're going to do it without spending a single dime. No way, right? Seriously, you do not need an expensive cloud infrastructure to get your ideas out into the world. By the end of our time together, you'll know exactly how to pull this off.
Okay, let's dive into this and look at our 6-step blueprint to completely demystify deployment. We're going to cover 1. Escaping localhost, 2. The anatomy of an AI app, 3. The best free platforms, 4. A step-by-step workflow, 5. Fixing common errors, and 6. The ultimate free stacks.
All right, section 1, escaping the localhost, going live. So you've built something incredible, but it's completely trapped on your laptop. I mean, you can't exactly mail your physical computer to a user just so they can try your app out, right? That brings us to the ultimate question every developer faces. How do I deploy it for free so anyone can use it? Now, if you're sitting there thinking you need to whip out a credit card to spin up some pricey cloud server, let me reassure you right now, paid hosting is completely unnecessary for your portfolio projects. Before we look at the where, let's quickly define the what. What does deployment actually mean? It simply means taking your application from your private local computer environment and making it available on the internet. Instead of just running on, localhost where only you can see it, your app gets a shareable public link, like yourapp.vercel.app. Suddenly, anyone in the world with that link can instantly access your creation.
Moving right along to section 2, anatomy of an AI app. Think of these like modular Lego blocks.
To reduce the cognitive load here, we really need to stop thinking of your app as one giant, intimidating monolith. It's really not. Most AI applications are just made up of 3 core modular blocks. First up is the front end, that's your website interface, usually built with something like React or Vue. Second is the back end, which actually processes the requests using Node.js or Python. And finally, the AI model itself, like an OpenAI GPT model, Google Gemini, or something off Hugging Face. Deployment simply means finding a free home for these 3 specific pieces. Which brings us to section 3. The best free platforms. This is all about hosting your code. Now that we know our modular blocks, let's pair them with the real heroes of our deployment journey. And this brilliantly illustrates our platform matrix. So if you've got a front end built in React or Next.js, Vercel and Netlify are going to be your absolute best friends. They offer blazing fast, drag and drop, or just automatic GitHub deployments. Looking at row 2, if you have a backend API written in Node or Python, Render and Railway are spectacular choices. And finally, in row 3, if your project is an AI demo, a chatbot, or some cool data science dashboard, Hugging Face Spaces and Streamlit are absolutely incredible. They're literally designed to host machine learning projects effortlessly. But wait, what if your application actually needs to save user data? Well, you're going to need one more modular component, a database. And luckily, you don't need to pay for these either. If you need a NoSQL cloud database, MongoDB Atlas is fantastic. If you're more of a Postgres person, Supabase and Neon have incredibly generous free tiers. For MySQL, there's PlanetScale. And honestly, for really small local applications, good old SQLite works perfectly. Just pick the one that fits your vibe.
All right, section 4, step-by-step deployment workflow, taking it from local to live.
Knowing the platforms is great, but let's move to and see how this builds into an actual workflow. Here is the exact 5-step sequence you'll use. Step 1, build and test locally, just to make sure, actually works. Step 2, push your project to GitHub. This is super important because modern platforms connect directly to your repository. Step 3, choose your hosting platform from that matrix we just looked at. Step 4, configure your environment variables. And step 5, just click deploy. Most of these platforms will automatically pull your code from GitHub, and literally, within minutes, your app is live. It's kind of like magic, honestly. Okay, before you hit deploy though, so the crucial point is this golden rule. Never, ever hard code your API keys directly into your source code. If you upload a file to GitHub with your OpenAI or Gemini key typed right into it, someone will scrape it and steal it. Instead, you always want to use environment variables. All these free platforms have secure settings where you can safely paste secret values without exposing them to the entire internet.
Section 5, fixing common deployment errors. Time for some troubleshooting. I really want to provide a safety net for you here, because let's be totally honest, things break, and that's completely normal. When your deployment fails, checking the deployment logs will usually reveal the exact problem. So mentally check off these common pitfalls. Did you forget those environment variables we just talked about? Are your build or start commands wrong for that specific platform? Are you getting those annoying CORS errors because your front end and back end are on different URLs? Maybe your AI model is just too massive for a free tier? Or is there a version mismatch between the Python version on your laptop and the one on the server? Check these first, and for sure you'll be troubleshooting like a pro.
And finally, Section 6, the ultimate free stacks. These are your ready-to-use recipes. Depending on your goal, these separate blocks snap together beautifully. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can break this down by your focus. Starting out in web development, use the beginner web stack. Build your front end in React, deploy on Vercel. Build your backend in Node, deploy on Render. Use MongoDB for your database, and call the Gemini API for your AI. But actually scratch that, if you're a data scientist or a Python-focused dev, you'll want the machine learning stack. Build your front end with Streamlit, write your logic in Python using PyTorch or TensorFlow, and drop the whole shebang directly onto Hugging Face spaces. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's 100% free. Let's wrap up with this empowering thought. You absolutely do not need expensive infrastructure to prove your skills. By utilizing tools like Vercel, Render, Hugging Face, and GitHub, you have literally everything you need to build a stellar professional portfolio. A working, deployed AI application impresses recruiters far more than a project that only runs on your laptop. So if budget and expensive cloud servers are no longer the bottlenecks keeping your ideas offline, what's the real reason you haven't launched the next big AI innovation?